This is Don't Panic, episode number 205, recorded June 4th, 2018. Tongue detection. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets to the internet. And you, I'm Sean Jenks, joined as always by a guy who's California dreaming on such a winter's day. It's Colby Rabidou.
It really was cold today. Oh boy!
For a June, man, I'm telling you, it was not swell. All was not good in the Northeast.
No, sir. Yeah, it was sad times. Luckily, I looked ahead, and I brought a raincoat.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned coming back from Houston is you have to check the weather up here because it changes. Like one day it's one thing, and then the next day it's something else.
Yep. Yeah, it totally did. I liked Sunday was kind of nice because it was like cool, but at least sunny. Like it was cold. It was nice in the sun. It actually reminded me a lot of San Francisco weather, where it was like warm in the sun, but really cold in the shade. Mm-hmm. So you needed like multiple jackets or multiple outerwears or something. I don't know. I wish it would be a little warmer more consistently, though. I think that's really what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I'm on the side of the temperature doesn't bother me as much because I can always add or remove layers. I gotta have the sun though. Like if it's sunny and cold, I pretty much don't care. But right. if it's cold and gray, or even if it's warm and gray, that doesn't fly.
Yeah, the sun makes all the difference.
It does. Especially when it makes me all red and uncomfortable.
Yep.
Burnt and toasty.
Yep. So what's new, Sean?
Well, I was going to say, it is just the two of us this week. Our third amigo is in Portland, the good one. Folks at home can guess which one that is. We can't compromise his OPSEC, so we won't say which Portland, but let's just say it's the one with the hipsters who like drinking beer.
I thought you were saying that Dan was the good host.
No, I was making a Portland, Maine, Portland, Oregon joke.
I see.
You know, you read into that whatever you want. Are you a little insecure, Colby? Is that what this is?
I don't know.
It's not I love you both. You're both my favorite.
That's good.
It's a real Sophie's choice.
I feel like today the recurring yearly payment for Don'tPanic.io went through on my credit card. It was like an hour ago.
Yep.
So that's good. Our web presence will continue another year. Is our website still up?
It is. I was actually on there earlier today because I was looking up. I was looking up today. We're going to talk about WWDC, which of course we famously did on our very first episode. Do you know how many WWDCs we've covered?
What year did we graduate from college? 2013?
Well, I can spoil it. The first episode was in 2013. 15, 16, yeah. 17. This is our sixth. Our sixth.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Man, we've been doing this a while.
We have. We truly have. It's disturbing. And someone should have stopped us long ago.
It's a little upsetting.
No, you asked what's new with me. Really, nothing interesting. Nothing interesting at all. Still on the house hunt, which has I went on 4 open houses this weekend, and they all were 0 for 4. They were all not great.
Bummer.
Yep.
Was it like was it various kinds of not great? Was it like bad location like falling apart?
There was a house like right up against an incredibly busy street near an intersection. There was a house
as a person who lives it was above
like that.
A very busy street on an intersection.
Except imagine your bedroom is on the first floor and your bed is up against the window that's against the street.
Well, that's first floor that's pretty intense. When I first moved in here, that's where I had my bed. I don't know, long time watchers of the show might remember like 7 months ago, when my desk was in a slightly different spot. My bed was against the window, and I did not realize that until much later when I moved my bed away from the window because it was so cold next to the window. That is also much louder next to the window. So that's a pro tip. if you don't want to hear the outside noise.
And I felt bad because the house was for sale by owner, so the owners were there. And they were very nice people, and the house was one of the most nicely upkept houses I've seen. I mean, it was a very nice house, and they were very nice people. But I'm like, isn't this kind of a busy street? And then they just kind of looked at each other like they knew that's why no one wanted to buy it. And they're like, you don't hear it after a while. I'm like, okay, sure, uh-huh.
They need to invent like noise canceling technology for like your yard. It's just like speakers all around, like an invisible fence that play like whatever like negative sound at you.
Just like aggressively loud white noise. Sean, what is all that hissing sound? It's just to cover the traffic. Science says this is better.
Yes. Well, that's a disappointing.
Yeah.
Would you ever go on House Hunters?
I would dream to go on House Hunters. You want to go on House Hunters with me, Colby?
I'll be your buddy.
I need a partner. Because they don't let people go on it alone, because that's sad. So I need somebody to go on, and I am very picky.
That's true.
But
that's true. I'll be your but this part is great.
But one thing I have learned is that when you go to these open houses, they are very uncomfortable if you show up alone.
Oh.
They really don't like that. And that's I don't because most people, they show up either with a significant other or a family member, or oftentimes their realtor. I show up alone, and it is very weird because they're just like, are you here with somebody, or like, do you have a realtor? Because I don't know if they think like I'm gonna rob the place, or like
it's a trap.
Or it's just like I'm like installing secret cameras, or like I don't know what weird thing they think I'm doing, but
maybe you should ask.
They don't care for that.
You seem put off. Like, what do you think my
Why do you think I'm really here today?
Right.
Excuse me. Would you call this house secure? Like, if you had to explain some of the weak entry points to this house, what would they be?
Yeah. I'm very security conscious.
Yeah. Is this a safe neighborhood? Like, do neighbors watch out for each other? And yeah, that's really interesting.
That is interesting.
So, that is my life. What's up with you, sir? Anything of note?
Well, along similar lines, I'm moving next week.
All right.
So I'm going into like my second adult move. And I say adult move. Well, it hasn't been that long since the last time I moved, but I have an adult amount of stuff like the last time I moved.
Yep.
Which I had not before any other time I moved in my life. I think I'm way better prepared for it this time. I ordered moving boxes on Amazon. I didn't even think of that the last time. I like kept going to Staples, and I go to Staples and get a package of moving boxes and like lug them back to my apartment and like use them all and be like, shit, I need more moving boxes. And I go back to Staples and get some more, and then like I use them all, and then I was like, shit, I need more moving boxes. So I spent way too much time going back and forth to Staples, and I'm pretty sure I got the right amount the first time. Like, I mean, might need to do like one supplemental moving box.
Well, still, it's better than going all those trips.
Yep. But so that's happening. I started packing. There's like less stuff on the shelves. You can sort of notice if you look hard. Now,
I'm thinking maybe we could use the show to help you out, make your move a little bit easier, because if you had less stuff to move, it would be neat. So is there anything, Colby, you would like to auction off? I know we've already had Nicole and Zach both make comments. I'm trying to keep up with them because the timing is bad, but we do have people watching on Twitch and on Facebook right now. So if there's any items, we'll do this, like QVC here, the Colby Shopping Network. Is there anything you'd like to sell?
I was not prepared for this question.
Good. If you had been, I'd be very concerned.
I have. I'm trying to think. I feel like I don't have anything I don't need. Sell a stupid Apple Watch.
Someone should really update that thing.
Right. I definitely have like a knife block and a trash can that are just in my closet because I didn't have anywhere to put them. But I might be able to put them somewhere when I move. I don't know.
We'll see. What price would you put on a knife block with no knives in it? Like, what is that worth to somebody? Like, I already have all these knives, but they're just loose all over the place.
They have to be the perfect size to fit in all this very specific holes that this knife block has.
Very narrow market. I'm thinking $300.
Actually, one thing that did happen, I was feeling really lazy and I was buying moving boxes on Amazon. So I also bought some like dish soap, some Dawn dish soap. And it's like kind of annoying to buy stuff like that on Amazon because it's always like there's more of them than you want.
Yep.
So like really I wanted one container of dish soap, but there were only 2-packs. So I bought a 2-pack. And it turns out that the thing I bought was a 2-pack of 2-packs. So
I love when that happens.
It was 2 packages of 2 Dawn dish soaps each. So I have 4 things of Dawn dish soap. Meanwhile, like the one I have, I've been using for the last like 5 months. Like it's gonna take me a while to go through this. So if anybody needs some dish soap, I got you covered.
That is one of
it's the blue kind.
That is one of my favorite things about Amazon is when that happens. I once ordered these little video adapter these little metal adapters that you hooked in a plug and one into it. They went between 2 plugs, and I needed one of them. Okay, and they were about that big, but they only came in 10-packs. And I said, okay, I literally don't have a choice, and I need to buy it. And they weren't that expensive, and so all right, I'll just get the 10-pack. No, it was no lie, 10-packs. I got 100 of these stupid fucking little the box was like this big, and I'm like, the adapter's this big. What? Literally 10 bags of 10 each of all, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with all of these? I couldn't believe it.
That's
it was like
incredible.
$5.
Right? Why? You would have been perfectly happy to just receive 10 of those. I feel like they're like throwing them away at that point.
I think they're still sitting around somewhere.
That's crazy.
I don't know what I ever did with them, but I love when Amazon does that. What a treat.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. I was like, why is this box? What is in this? It's so heavy. It's four dish soaps. Yeah. So that's fun. That's been fun.
Oh man, who needs Dan? We
I don't know.
We got plenty of excitement. We got too much dish soap. We've got creepy men stalking people's houses. We don't, just a normal weekend.
Yes, indeed.
A couple of cool dudes.
Also, it was WWDC.
It was Colby, the Worldwide Developers Conference, happening in, I'm assuming, San Francisco.
I think it's in San Jose now.
Oh, swanky.
It's not.
A downgrade. Well, aren't they gonna? I wonder if they'll ever move it to campus. No, they don't want that many people on their campus.
Yeah, I feel like even the new campus, they won't have that kind of many. Space. I feel like they moved to San Jose for space reasons. Though I guess I don't know. I've never been to WWDC.
Yeah, we got to get there. They never invite us.
Right. I guess we could get ourselves there. We could just go and hang out in San Jose.
Colby, we're in the media, okay? We don't pay for things, all right? We get invited to things. Because when we talk about it, people listen.
That's true. Some number of people listen.
Just like Zach in the Twitch chat who says, speaking of the solo open house viewing, there must be a service for that. And I say, that's a great startup idea. There is no, I want an Uber for open house showings. And by that, it's not really a good analogy. But what I want is just an app where I can be like, all right, I want to come see the house in 30 minutes. And then there's no one, and then I just show up. And then there's no one else. Because the problem is you go to these things and there's like a zillion people.
Oh.
For the houses that are competitive. But this, you just schedule okay, these 15 minutes are my 15 minutes in the house.
Right.
And then weird.
Has anyone at the house ever tried to fight you? Have you ever had a showdown?
No, but...
Or a bidding war?
It's not like an auction where we all have paddles. Another 50,000. No, it doesn't. No, but you do give each other the looks, and everyone's whispering. They're like, "Oh, look at the cabinets. Look at the cabinet. Don't listen to what we're saying. Don't listen to what we're. This is none of your business, sir."
That's weird.
And then I leave just shouting back, I didn't want to buy this stupid house anyway. I'll go get my own house.
I'm sure that shows them.
Yeah, I'm not welcome at them anymore.
Mm.
So as you mentioned, WWDC, the developers conference, which means software updates. We saw no hardware announcements today. Maybe it would be interesting to talk about the things we didn't hear about today. No hardware, no HomePod updates, no updates on the PowerPad charging mat thing.
Oh man, I wanted one of those.
That was like the one thing I was kind of excited. We saw no headphones, no hardware updates at all, which was kind of a bummer.
I'm mad that you reminded me about the PowerPad because I had forgotten.
I'm sure Apple is glad that you had forgotten.
That was their plan all along. We don't say anything.
Colby will just forget, and then we can get away with never releasing it.
Well, their master plan has worked for another year.
So far, anyhow.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we didn't see a lot of other stuff announced. All software, major updates to all of their iOS, macOS, watchOS, tvOS. Where would you like to start, Colby?
Oh, boy.
You want to just go in sort of chronological order?
Let's do that.
All right.
I wasn't prepared for that.
I'll try and jump over, because there's a lot. So I'll try. I mean, it took them over 2 hours to announce this, and we have about 30 minutes. So we'll keep it brief. iOS 11 coming this fall, though you can join the beta later this month. They started with performance, which I've talked previously on the show, and you and Dan disagreed a bit. I think iOS 11 is terrible, and I don't think the performance is very good, and it was very buggy when it came out. Apple said they're really focusing on making it feel faster than ever. They say apps will launch 40% faster, the keyboard will come up 50% faster, and opening the camera is 70% faster. And that
was on old phones too,
and
right?
That test is on an iPhone 6. So imagine how fast it'll be on your shiny new device.
Zippy.
Yep. And this iOS, I don't know if it's the first, but it's certainly one of the most. It's been a while anyway. To be that this update will apply to all of the same devices iOS 11 currently works on. So most of the time, like iOS 11 phased out some like every time, but this one will work on all current devices, including older iPads and things of that nature, which is nice and should see some improvement there. Big alert. I'll do this maybe when they talk about the actual important stuff. Big alert, screen time, a new feature in iOS 11 that details how much time you're spending on the device and using individual apps. It breaks down app usage by category and can track which apps are sending you the most notifications. It will provide a weekly summary of your usage habits. We talked about this. Google announced a similar feature in Android P a couple months ago. You'll be able to set time limits for each app, and iOS will automatically notify you when you're running out of the allotted time. A time's up message will display when it runs out, but there is a quote-unquote snooze button where you can simply request more time, which is interesting because on Google's proposal, they goddamn lock you out, and there is no snooze button.
Damn.
So we can talk about
Power
that.
move.
Apple is also applying this to parental controls, where parents, through family sharing, can control all of this access to the apps in terms of time, in terms of usage, in terms of app categories, and all of that. Maybe we'll pause here, Colby. Any thoughts on screen time?
Seems cool. I think we talked about it a couple of shows ago. That app Moment that does a lot of these things. But in a more annoying way because you have to like sort of do a bunch of stuff to like screenshot your battery usage so it can figure out like when you were using what apps and stuff. And I think it does notifications, but it's sort of just phone level notifications. It's like, hey, you've been like looking at your phone for 2 hours today. Maybe you should take it easy.
Yep.
But obviously it doesn't have any, like, it can't, like, lock you out of your apps or anything like that. So that's kind of cool. I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of, like, nice information to have. Mostly what I've learned from that is exactly what I would have expected. Like, I don't know, like, I use my phone more on the weekends. Sure. Or stuff like that. I guess when I'm just like sitting around, and mostly I use my phone to send messages to people. Shocker. But yeah, I think it's cool. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is sort of like the health data that comes out of my Apple Watch, where it's like, yeah, it's neat, but it doesn't really change how I live my life.
Yeah. Do you think was there any mention like will this be like a health kit thing that things can have? I would love to have this stuff like in one of my other things that has like all the other stuff about my life.
I think that's an outstanding idea. To my knowledge, no, they did not mention it integrating with HealthKit, but I think that would be in a future update potentially. I think that's a really good idea because I kind of think that is for me, I see two key uses for this, right? One is, you're right, it's kind of that health thing that, reducing phone use time, screwing with notifications and things of that nature, self-control issues. For me, I think the bigger, better use from my seat is the parental controls. I think it's hard when you're an adult. It's that sort of self-control thing where, okay, I know I have a problem, but will I actually use the app? And there's a bigger theme in iOS 12 we'll talk about as we go through that I've noticed, which is sometimes you can customize things too much, and I feel like Apple might be heading in that direction a little bit. We'll get into that with shortcuts in a bit, but I worry that this app might take a little too much work to get up and running and set up in a way that... But I like the parental side of this because I feel like simply blocking apps is not the right way to deal with how kids should be using devices. But to be able to control individual or even category of apps, usage, and notifications, I think is a really powerful tool because I think, again, I'm not a parent, so I'm assuming things, but I think if you tell a kid, no, you can't do all of X, the kid's going to want to do X. But if you say you can use X for 3 hours a day and you can use certain parts of that, I feel like if there's a little more nuance to it, it doesn't seem so I don't know. My hope is that a feature like this will create better interactions with young people and devices. And to me, I think that's an exciting opportunity.
That's fair. I guess thinking back to my childhood, like that's how we use the computer. Like, I don't know, got like an hour a day to like play games or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Would your parents have let you sat on a computer for 8 hours a day?
No.
Yeah, that's,
Certainly not. So yeah, that's kind of cool. But then like I could do like once high school rolled around or whatever, and I could do my homework, right? Like it wasn't like that was available to me in the internet and stuff.
Yep.
So seems cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, a good partner piece with this is an update to notifications, which a lot of people have complained about. Now we have grouped notifications, so you'll be able to interact with or dismiss multiple notifications at the same time. I'll put up on the screen here for people to see a little GIF of what it will look like when you can open and collapse them and see them in groups. They will show up in a stack, which you will be able, as I mentioned, they'll collect there. They're also giving users more control over which apps are allowed to send notifications that vibrate the phone. Quiet notifications will show up only in the notification center, but not on your lock screen. They also won't make sounds or interrupt you in any other way. You access that by doing a long press on the notification, and then it will pop up, hey, whatever app, do you want to silence it temporarily? Or it just gives you more control over when the notifications come and disappear as well. There were also... a few other small updates to Do Not Disturb, including Do Not Disturb while sleeping, which is a new feature where notifications that come up while you're sleeping in the evening, I'm assuming you set that time, when you look at your lock screen at night, it hides the notifications until you hit the I'm up button, and then your notifications appear. So you're not reading them until you're actually awake, which I am very much looking forward to, because that is a very bad habit I have.
of reading your notifications.
If I can't sleep at midnight, I kind of just roll over and I'm like, well, I'll just look, and then there's a bunch of shit on the screen. I'm like, God damn it, I got to check these.
What kind of notifications do you like get in the middle of the night?
No, it's usually some sports game ended and the score's there, or some dumb email, or news, just general. I mean, I got a bunch of shit on there. There's always goddamn notifications. I'm gonna be so into group notifications and a little more finesse.
Yeah, I really aggressively culled the notifications that I get on my phone lately. There was certainly a time in the past where I had notifications on for my email. Just not a good idea.
Yeah.
There's the email app I use does it does a medium okay job of like only sending you a notification for a thing that's like it's like an email from a person that was addressed directly to you, and like it'll show you a notification for that and almost nothing else. So that's pretty nice. But this stuff seems cool. There are definitely things that I would probably turn on if they didn't like buzz at me. So I might have to explore that.
Absolutely. We also have new Animoji with, as we mentioned at the top, tongue detection technology. Thank you, Apple. They'll be able to use the Face ID camera to detect your tongue's position and mimic that in the Animoji. New Animojis include the ghost, the koala, the tiger, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex, in addition to Memoji.
Memoji.
Is it me? I'm assuming it's Memoji.
I think that's
not Memoji.
I think it's Memoji.
All alone in the moonlight. No.
I lost it in the page.
I was not in Cats. Memoji is the ability for you to create personalized avatars, similar to Bitmoji. If you've seen, though, they're very similar. You'll be able to create characters that have your own appearance by choosing things like skin color, hairstyle, and outfitting with accessories, and then that character mirrors your face, like the other Animoji do.
Very cool. I just last week got a Bitmoji for the first. I didn't have a Bitmoji.
You caved.
I didn't even know what it was. Like I'd heard of it, like I'd seen the pictures around, but I didn't know it was like a. I didn't know what it was, but now I have one. So this is cool. I don't know what I'll use it for. I can't decide if it's like more, it makes me more or less uncomfortable than the Animoji did. It might be the same amount. I just feel weird doing it. Like maybe the problem was I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know what to do with it. So I was just like, I made a weird face and then I put it away and never used it again.
I think the Memoji are better than the Animoji, in my opinion, because I just think the Animoji are just like so goofy. You can't, but these, it's like, at least, I don't know, it's a little more practical. People love, people have always told me to get, I've never done Bitmoji, but I know people love it. People get really excited over it. So I think people will be excited to give this a shot, more so than the Animoji, I think.
Yeah. I could see like my mom using this.
Yep. The tweens will be all over it.
Indeed. Indeed.
You'll be able
the
to.
Tweens like my mom.
Yeah. Sure. Why not? Young at heart. The Memoji, you'll be able to use them, Colby, in group FaceTime. That's right. They're introducing group FaceTime that can include up to a staggering 32 people. It will be supported across iOS and macOS. When multiple people are on a call, their video windows get larger when they're speaking and shrink when they're not. It's kind of like this neat little pop-up, little post-it note kind of system. And you'll be able to use Animoji and Memoji characters during the calls. They'll put it right over your face during the conversation.
I feel like all these features, like this group chatting with 32 people and like grouping your notifications together and stuff, it's for people with more robust social lives than mine. Like this is not a problem I had.
Yeah, there are actually even more features we haven't even gotten to yet. You're absolutely right. They really are trying to push for more of that. I'll use this opportunity to point out we've listed at least 5 or 6 features, and we'll list a few more that Android has either already announced they'll have or has had for years. So just to be fair, I know we usually don't cover Google as in-depth as we cover WWDC and things like this, but I just want the Google fans out there to know we acknowledge that Google has already had a lot of these things for a while.
Indeed.
For those still running Gingerbread or Honeycomb or whatever ancient version of Android you're on.
Gingerbread. I actually the group notification thing will be nice for like work stuff, like Slack.
Yep.
Usually I don't have message notifications from Slack, but when I do, I have like 12. So
yeah, the ability to bulk clear them, it'll be nice. They're working on augmented reality, a new file format, USDZ. Which is sort of just a small single file to contain AR stuff. I don't know how it works, but it's going to be supported by companies like Adobe Autodesk and Sketchfab to build apps around. They also announced a few AR apps, including the one This is probably my top 3 great things that they announced today, which is the Measure app. And what it is, it uses augmented reality to measure things around you. You simply put the object in the camera frame, tap and drag out a line, and it measures it to, inch or centimeter or anything of that nature.
It's cool.
I'm so excited.
I tried like an App Store app that did this. I didn't test with a real tape measure, so I don't know if it worked.
Yeah, I don't think you would use this if you were a carpenter, but I do think it's kind of a neat...
For like ballparking,
I would
like slightly better than doing the steps thing. Like my feet are like almost a foot.
Yeah, it's close enough. Yeah. So that'll be neat. We also saw ARKit 2, and they showed off some demos, including new things like shared experiences, where 2 users on different iPhones can see the same thing when running the same app, which is, I think, actually pretty neat. So you'll be able to play competitive AR games against each other and see the same experience in real time. We also saw, Stami, if anything gets interesting here, we also saw an update to Photos, a bunch of stuff, search suggestions, a new For You tab that suggests filters and effects you might want to apply. Friends who received photos are prompted to share back their own pics and video from the same event. All this is very similar to what you've already seen in Google Photos, but again, that social aspect, they're really pushing the ease with which you can share photos over iMessage, and that they'll be able to sort of relate events you and your friends share photos from. Have you ever used any of the photo sharing stuff now in Photos? I've never done it, like shared albums.
I take that back. Dan and I used it for when we went to Hawaii.
Of course.
Yeah, but otherwise I've never used it. I probably should use it because I don't know. There are people I'm friends with who I would share photos with, and
if they're on iPhones,
right.
We also saw a number of updates to Siri. Siri is now allowing developers more integration in iOS 12. Third-party apps can build shortcuts to allow Siri to carry out popular actions. Apple demonstrated a Tile integration where you say, I lost my keys, and then it automatically knows to pull from Tile. And so you'll be able to select certain apps to use certain common phrases. In addition to that, we saw the introduction of the Shortcuts app. It allows users to string together multiple actions that can be triggered by a single custom Siri request. This is similar if you use an Alexa device. You can create routines, I believe they call it. You can do the same with Google as well. But you'll be able to say, hey, it's time for work, and it'll tell you what the weather is, and then give you directions, and then turn off your lights and lock your door when you leave, and they'll string a bunch, text your boss that you're leaving. A bunch of stuff. But it'll integrate with all the different Apple stuff, including HomeKit. Let's pause here, Colby. What do you think of the Shortcuts app and the update to Siri?
I don't know, like,
meh.
It seems fine. I don't really use Siri ever, except on accident when I press a button on my watch. I've tried to use, like, there are like the App Store apps that do things similar, sort of like automation things. Like there's one called like Workflow that, like, I feel like every 3 months it's like featured on the App Store. And, like, people seem to like it, but I can't for the life of me think of what I should do with it.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm sure other people do because it's been around forever. But I just don't know what to do with it. So I can't imagine I know what to do with this, but I don't know. What do you think?
That was one of the... I totally agree with you. I think that was one of the great things about IFT was that they had the community where they would suggest, you would see other people's recipes. And that was where you would get ideas. I don't think I ever made one myself. I think I just saw other people's and was like, oh, that's neat. Oh, I should try that. And so I think you're right. I think it'll be difficult. I have a couple of routines set up through Amazon, through my smart devices. But what worries me is they're such a pain to set up. It takes so much work. And I consider myself a techie person, and if I struggle, I can't imagine an average iOS user ever using this. I mean, it's a great idea. I'm glad they're doing it. I'm sure I'll play around with it and create one or two. The ability to control them from Apple Watch and HomePod is really interesting. The fact that it integrates with all the smart home stuff is really interesting. If you're a real heavy Apple user, I think it's going to be cool, but I don't think this will ever really take off as a major functionality except for the handful of people who are really into automation and really into smart home stuff. I think your average user, this is really, and this again circles back to my main point of iOS 12. I'm so glad they're giving us, when it comes to the time tracking and the notifications and shortcuts, I'm glad they're giving more user control. But I am so suspicious that no one's going to use them because they're intimidating and they're buried in settings. And I'm still finding features from old iOS versions that I haven't used before because I didn't even know they were there. And I'm glad they're introducing them. I just don't know who's going to use them.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, maybe they'll do a good job, like, being like, hey, look at this thing. Or, like, you know, maybe with something like that, there's a right time to tell someone about it. Like, hey, you tried to do this thing with Siri. Do you know?
Yep.
Like, you did a thing with Siri and then copy and pasted the result. Do you know you could do this thing or something? I don't know.
That would be great. No, they should definitely do more of that. I know they're trying to do more classes at the Apple Store, and they're trying to do the best they can. I think even coming pre-stocked with 2 or 3 that you can delete might be a good idea. You know, like the Home app does that, where they have a good night one preset and a good morning one preset. That could help too. So they'll give it a best shot. I'm excited to play with it. I don't know how much I'll end up using it 6 months from launch, but
totally,
it'll be fun.
I'm certain I'll play with it.
That's what we're here for. A couple other small things. CarPlay is getting a third-party turn-by-turn navigation app support. That means in your car, you'll be able to use Google Map and Waze. This is has been a huge issue for people using CarPlay who don't like Apple Maps. Now you'll finally be able to use other mapping software. A bunch of updates to the stock apps. Apple News is getting some minor improvements. A completely rebuilt stock apps, which is dope. It includes content from Apple News about, I'm assuming, stocks. And it's coming to iPad for the first time and will support after-hour stock prices. We also saw updates to the Voice Memos app. It's also coming to the iPad, and your recordings will now be available across devices thanks to iCloud syncing. One other note, Apple is changing the name. It is no longer iBooks. It is now Apple Books. The app is also coming along with a refreshed design that focuses on discoverability. Now, there are a bunch of other stuff we didn't even touch on. We could probably go another while on iOS, but those are kind of the major hits.
Cool.
So let's sum it up. What are your thoughts on iOS 12 before we move on to macOS? Good update, bad update, no update?
It sounds pretty good. I mean, I feel like there's nothing here that's like, oh my god, wow, this is crazy. But like the notification stuff will be nice. Time stuff is like interesting. Like maybe the Siri stuff will be cool. I don't know. My expectations are pretty low. Yeah. I think it's exciting. These are the kind of iOS updates I like, where it's incremental improvement. We're adding a couple new features. We're not blowing it out. We're just trying to make it better. And I like that. And we've talked previously on the show about the leaks about them moving to a TikTok update cycle where they're going to do a big update, improvement update, big update, improvement update. This is supposedly the improvement update. I think it's great. I don't think there's anything they announced that I think is dumb or stupid or doesn't make any sense. I think they all have useful features. I don't think there's anything real silly that they put out there. So I think it's exciting. And I think it's all stuff people either could use or will use. I don't think there's anything, that was wasteful that was announced. So overall, I think pretty successful. We'll see what happens when it comes out in the fall. Is it just in the fall, or is there a date?
No date. But usually it coincides with whatever hardware event, and that's usually early October, late September.
Indeed.
Right there, depends on if they have one or two. We also saw macOS, Mojave, Mojave. What is it? Mojave. macOS Mojave. I can't wait for Hi Mojave. LOL. That's an Apple joke. Mojave, the big feature, Colby, and I know you're as excited about this as I am. Say it with me. Dark mode.
Dark mode.
Yes. Actually, I think dark mode's sweet. I'm on board for dark mode, which not only turns the Finder windows black, but it comes with an inverted look to Xcode too. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Sweet.
Nerds love dark mode.
I think it. Hey, it's the small things. Let's see.
It looks that picture they have in the background.
Yeah, all the demos were really. It's a neat look. We also saw a Safari update with more privacy stuff. It preemptively blocks tracking sites like Facebook's like and comment feature and asks you to allow it to appear when you're visiting a website. Apple will also only give sites a simplified system configuration to prevent them from being able to identify and fingerprint your device for advertisements. This kind of puts it up in sort of the upper echelon of privacy within Safari. The Mac App Store is also getting redesigned, focuses on news sections and better highlights video previews, rating, and editor's choice picks. It looks much more like the iOS version. And some new apps coming include Office 365 and BB Edit. They've added a bunch of quick actions to the Finder windows, including organizing your desktops by stacks or choosing to watermark multiple files or sign a PDF just by selecting a menu option from the sidebar. Even screen capping videos will be quicker. You don't have to do it through QuickTime. The Home app is coming to Mojave, so you can adjust all your smart stuff from there. And yeah.
Nice. I think the stacks thing is cool.
Okay.
Because, well, maybe it won't be cool. Like, I don't know how neatly the things I want to be in stacks fall into, like, the same file type. But it might work out, actually. I feel like I just, like, throughout the day have a bunch of garbage that, like, I take a lot of screenshots for work. It's, like, just comes with the territory. And, like, they're mostly garbage. Like, I just take them and use them and throw them away.
Yep.
So I think that'll be neat. I'm also excited that there's a new app store because the old one was, like, pretty garbage.
Yep.
Not only did it look dated, it was, like, really bad.
It was like iTunes level bad.
Yeah. I don't know what iTunes like is nowadays, but
I still use iTunes for Windows like a lunatic.
It was it wasn't iTunes bad, it was the iTunes store pages bad. Like, oh man. Like, that's clearly rough. Like a web view or something in the app just did not do it. Didn't do it.
Yep. I thought one of the features they kind of went through it quick that was really neat was the ability to almost in real time take a photo on your phone and have it sent right to the computer in an app.
That's cool.
Which I thought was a small thing, but it's, again, more synergy between the iOS and macOS. And we also saw that they're not combining iOS and macOS. They said very clearly, no, we're not merging them, but they do want to be able to synchronize apps between the two devices and take apps from iOS and apply a layer to make them compatible with things like a trackpad and other macOS items. They plan to do that by to start it in 2019. But they've already demoed it with porting over things like the Apple News app that's coming for macOS is essentially the iOS version. Same with the Stocks app. So that's interesting as well.
Can you imagine Overcast on the not website Overcast on your computer?
I think they have to do. I mean, I genuinely I think,
it just seems like a sort of a no-brainer. Like, why not? Technically, I'm sure it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong. Not trying to like minimize it, but like, why not?
But even awesome. Even Windows and Google and everyone else is already heading this direction. And I think yep. I think when you have such an insanely robust app store on one device and a much less robust app store on another device, I think it's inevitable that they have to do it. So.
And it seems like, I'm sure there's things I'm not thinking of, but I guess like swiping stuff doesn't work quite as well on the desktop. But like your basic like navigation interaction, like touching the screen, like it works just as well with a mouse. So
yeah, Well, and I'm glad they're not merging OSs, and I'm glad they're taking their time. I mean, it took Google 2 or 3 years to port Android apps to Chrome OS, and actually I still don't even know if they're finished doing that. So it's not an easy challenge, but I think that'll be a big boost to, not that I think macOS is in trouble, but I do think it'll be a big boost to them, a big selling point for them where, hey, that especially for non-Mac users who have iPhones and say, hey, look, you can use the same apps you love on your iPhone and your iPad, but on a Mac.
Right. Well, I feel like it's probably a nice thing for developers too, like iOS developers, right? Because like you have another, like if your app can just be on the Mac.
Yep.
I'm sure there'd be some work involved, but like if your app can be on the Mac, short of you like building your app again for the Mac.
Yep.
Like that's not nothing. And like, maybe I'm sure there's some sorts of business software and stuff that it's like, yeah, they're totally going to build out one for the Mac, but something like Overcast, like the Overcast iOS thing, like just like plopped onto my desktop. That's fine.
Yep.
Please, like, give me that. I want it right now.
We got to wait till at least 2019. Sorry. Let's roll on. watchOS 5 is here. We got more updates. We've got fitness competitions. So, Colby, it's on. You will win. Because I don't move. I almost always hit my stand goal.
Oh, wow. No. I think I got all 3 rings today. I always get my rings like when I'm doing nothing. Like I got all 3 rings because I like shifted on the couch.
Oh, you suck. Get out. What? Come on. That's mean. I don't like that. No, I lowered my sit goal from whatever the default one is, the stand goal, and like I still
1 an hour.
Yeah, and I still don't. It's like you really need to stand up. I said, you don't know me. But anyway, you can compete with friends and get digital awards. You can record workouts retroactively in case you forget to press start. A lot of fitness stuff in here. They added new types of workouts. Yoga you can track. There were a couple others as well. Apple's adding WebKit for watchOS so users can browse some websites on your watch. I'll let that one sink in for a minute. Okay. Such as a restaurant menu optimized for this tiny screen.
Oh, no.
Podcast support will also come to the latest Apple Watch OS. Essentially, they're just for the Apple Podcast app, as well as interactive notifications within Siri suggestions and integrating with the Shortcuts app. There's also, which we're for sure going to try out on the show, the new walkie-talkie feature where you can drop in and send a voice memo. You click and you talk, and then the other person clicks play. It's essentially voice memos for Watch, but they call it walkie-talkie, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. There's nothing I've ever wanted more than to be able to send you a message at any time.
Well, you never send me like a heartbeat or a little drawing. That's true. Now. That's
true. Maybe I'll start doing that. The problem is like you got your watch after me, so that's like true. The novelty of all the dumb stuff had worn off.
Colby, I'm not. 2 years from now, we'll still be walkie-talking all the time,
all day.
And hey, worst comes to worst, you can do the one other thing, which is you can just send me money via Apple Pay. That's fine too.
That's
I'm not gonna stop
true.
You. So the Siri watch face is getting enhanced with sports, maps, and heart rate information, as well as shortcuts to the new Siri actions. It'll also support third-party apps. Apple is also eliminating the need to say, hey Siri, to wake Siri. You'll be able to do it just by raising your wrist and talking to it, which tells me it's always listening when you raise your wrist, even if you don't say the keywords.
Turn that off.
Yep.
I just want it to not pop up when I accidentally hit the button, which I do all the time, multiple times a day.
And one other note, Apple will be releasing watchOS 5 for Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3 Apple Watches. However, the update will not be compatible with the first generation watch released in 2015.
Bummer.
So there you go on that. We've only got one more device, Colby. I promise you, tvOS is here. I think it had some new stuff. It did. Dolby Atmos support is coming to Apple TV 4K. Apple will update its iTunes library to include Dolby Atmos on supported movies, TV shows, and music videos for free. If you're not familiar with Dolby Atomos. It is, God, I love saying that. It is a display technology from the fine folks at Dolby, and it allows up to 128 audio tracks for optimal dynamic rendering to loudspeakers. I don't really fully understand how it works, but just makes the audio real good. It's also compatible. Yeah, just take my word for it. It's very nice. And then they also have the compatible, video. What is the video version? Because there's Dolby Vision. So Dolby Vision is what you see, and that's HDR10 4K video. And then they combine it with the Atomos for the audio. And on Apple TV 4, as far as I understand, Apple TV 4K is like the only device that you can go out and buy at a reasonable price that supports both of them. However, not a lot of movies and stuff are released in both. So
I see.
It's kind of one of those issues. But if you're really, this is a big deal if you're really into like, I got to do 4K, but like no one else is doing 4K.
Cool.
So there's that.
I don't have that Apple TV. So.
There you go. Apple TV is also getting support for Charter Spectrum, which is my cable provider, but I don't have an Apple TV, so we're gonna skip that.
Darn.
And that's pretty much it. We didn't even get one of those like no, we did. I'm sorry, we got a little one for the Outskirts. We didn't get any like we opened a new Apple store in Milwaukee. Like we didn't even get one of those, but they did do a big check to developers where they gave them like $100 billion. But that's pretty much the then Craig Federighi's hair. That's the announcement. Colby, what are your wrap up thoughts on WWDC 2018? A good one, a great one for the record books.
I think it'll be fine.
Fair.
I don't know.
Can't really.
I think it definitely seems like the what was it, the talk and the TikTok. I don't know. All of these things are welcome, and I didn't hear anything here except maybe like Siri on my watch, like turn it on even more annoyingly. I didn't hear anything that is unwelcome. So yeah, I'll give that a thumbs up.
Yeah, I would say this is an update that. Whether it will work, I don't know, but it at least seems to address a lot of my gripes with iOS 11. I think it's a lot of actually useful features. It's funny, in prep for the show, I looked back to that WWDC 2013, the first one we covered, iOS 7, and I look at and I put the link in the rundown, I don't know if you looked at it, because I thought it was music.
No, I didn't.
But iOS 7, if people remember, that was the one where they went to the new visual design. And I'm looking at some of the old screenshots and some of the old features, and it's so ugly. Oh, it looks so bad, and it took 6 years to finally get, to fix. I mean, you look at how bad Control Center is.
You know what I remember about iOS 7? I installed the beta of that because that was like the summer. Like we were just like between. I was just at my parents' after college.
Yep.
And I installed the beta of iOS 7. It was very beta.
Yeah, and it took a while.
Remember those moving wallpapers?
Oh, Jesus! There was a lot of really. The first notification center was so when you couldn't clear the notifications. Oh man, that was. By the way, iOS 7. That was where they introduced AirDrop.
Oh yeah, AirDrop is.
App Store auto updates.
I've just recently started using AirDrop for stuff, and it's like pretty useful. Sometimes it's hard to find the person you're looking for, but like other than that,
I love it for phone to Mac.
Right. Yeah.
It works great. I use that at work all the time. So anyway, I look. Are we gonna be looking back as this is one of the great iOS updates? No, probably not. But I think it's good. It's solid. I think it adds a lot of improvements. So I'm excited. I'll be looking forward to playing around with the screen time and the shortcuts and the notifications, and I don't know. It'll be fun for kind of the more customized, focused folks to really play around in. So that'll be fun. And Mojave, I think, will be fine. It's not really adding a ton, but I think it won't be worse. And watchOS will have some cool stuff, so that'll be fun. But we'll talk more in depth when we get to the fall here on the show. We'll have full coverage of that announcement, and when we all get and download the apps, we're all walkie-talkieing each other. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
Why don't we roll on to picks before we do that? I do want to take an opportunity to thank everybody who's watching live. We've had a lot of great fans joining us. Zach, Nicole, Percy's in the chat. We've had Otis and Ghost Killer. Just all kinds of folks have been joining us. So thanks for watching live on Twitch and Facebook. We do this Monday nights, twitch.tv/Don't Panic Show. Colby, we each got a pick this week, and yours sounds... So, Colby, we have two picks. You tell me which of these sounds more fun. Pocket Run Pool or Firefox multi-account containers?
Oh, boy. I think Pocket Run Pool sounds more fun.
But I'm more intrigued by Firefox multi-account containers.
Yeah.
What do you got, Colby?
Unless you think privacy is fun. I don't know. I don't know what you're into.
I'm into this.
Yeah, so a little while ago, Firefox released this extension for Firefox that lets you... I don't know how to explain this. It makes it so like you can log into a site like Facebook in its own little like container, its own little like Firefox space. So you're you're only logged into Facebook when you're on Facebook. And so like if you don't know, the way Facebook ads work is you log into Facebook and then their cookies like track you all around the rest of the internet because everyone has their like buttons on their pages. So like you go to Facebook and then you go like to The Verge and look at a website, some article, and they know you looked at the article because their like button was on the website on The Verge. So with the account container in Firefox, what you can do is say like, I only want to look at Facebook.com or Messenger or Instagram or whatever in this one specific little container thing, and I don't want like to be logged into Facebook on the rest of the sites I visit. So I don't know if that's appealing to you.
That is very.
You should check it out. I like it. It's cool.
Are you a big Firefox guy?
I use Firefox for non-work stuff.
It's gotten way better. Like it's really good now.
Totally. They 6 months or a year ago, they did a really like big like whole Firefox update, and it got way faster. It's pretty nice. It's still has some like rough edges. I feel like it doesn't do as well with like a million tabs open as Chrome does.
Yep.
Which, is okay. And like I mean, I use Chrome for work, so like the Firefox developer tools aren't quite as nice as Chrome, so that's why I end up doing it. But it kind of works out because I just like on my work computer, I just have Chrome where I'm logged into all my work stuff, and I have Firefox where I'm logged in to all my non-work stuff.
Yep.
And it's good. It's good for me.
Yeah. It's Firefox is great. No, this is a great add-on. Firefox multi-account containers. We'll have a link to that on the website, but you can check it out in the add-on store. I have a game. I brought a game. I don't usually do iOS games almost ever, but I don't know, Colby, if you ever played Flip Top Solitaire or Sage Solitaire. I think I picked both of those on the show before, and if anyone out there hasn't, those are also both great games. No. But it's the same developer. He just came out with Pocket Run Pool, which is arcade pool. Now, way back in the day, way back 04, 03, probably right around there. I was a big Yahoo Games guy. I don't know if you ever played Yahoo Games was da bomb because you would go on, it was real people, and I would play cribbage on the internet with real people, and I would play Yahoo Pool. And it was in the browser, and you'd play in real time, and it was like real ghetto, old school dial-up internet, but you would shoot the little pool with the other people, and it was so much fun. I hadn't done that in forever. And then I saw this app come out, Pocket Run Pool, and it's an iOS app where essentially you play a game of pool, but you're only playing against yourself, and you've got to hit the balls in. Each pocket has multipliers, but you can only miss so many times. It's very easy to play, and it's a great quick. You can use one hand to play. It's very simple, but very just fun. It's a good passing time type game. It's the same with the other solitaire games. And it's free, though there is a $3.99 in-app purchase, which unlocks, removes ads, and adds a bunch of extra levels and different ways to play the game, which I thought was a very reasonable price to pay for what you were getting. So if you're into kind of just mild time-passy type games, I think this is a really good one. Check it out. Pocket Run Pool, available on the iOS App Store. I think it's just iPhone. And not iPad, but don't hold me to that.
It has iPad screenshots on the website.
Bam!
So.
There you go. Then that's a fair... Damn, I'm going to have to play that on the iPad. It'll almost like being on a real pool table.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so give it a shot.
I used to have, I'm like the second cell phone I ever had. It was a flip phone, but there was like a pool game. And I really liked that.
Well, it's devilish. It's just angles. It's just basic physics. Like, it's a devilishly simple game, but nonetheless, I'm not very good at it. So,
yeah, what are you gonna do?
That's right. My billiards career may not be taking off, but podcasting isn't either. Excellent. Well, that we don't have time for any other tech news. We're out of time, but we appreciate everyone out there who joined us this evening. I think we had a lot of fun.
I do too.
We certainly covered, I think in terms of quantity of news, like you got your money's worth this week. These WWDC shows are packed.
Yes.
We don't
yes,
fool
that
around.
is true.
But, of course, you can get more of the show anytime on our website, don'tpanic.io. All the past episodes, audio and video, are there. As well as links to all the picks this week's and past weeks, in case you don't remember. It's easy. Just go to the website, and the links are there. And, of course, you can follow us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter. You can also email us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. As I mentioned, we do the show live Monday nights on Twitch. You can join us there. And subscribe to the show on Overcast, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We're probably there in the video version on YouTube at youtube.com/don'tpanicshow. And I will do a very short mini plug for Up for Debate, the show I do with Matt. This past week, we talked about colleges. And it's one of, I think, my favorite episodes we've ever done because it's the only one where we give actual good advice. If you know someone who is like a high school junior or senior, you should have them listen to the episode. We swear only a few times, but our advice
is real college advice.
It kind of is. We're literally, like, at the end, Matt and I were like, were we helpful? That can't be right.
This is suspicious.
But it was actually a really fun episode. So check that one out. And then this coming week, we're bringing back one of our most popular segments for round 4. This or That is back. So check that out at upfordebate.tv. Colby, how about, would you like an exclusive preview of one of our This or That questions?
Yes.
This is literally Matt doesn't even know these. And this is going to be a fun one. Who do you think would be a better roommate? Batman or Superman?
Oh boy. Batman. He's a Batman. He likes the dark. I bet he's quiet. Superman just is Superman. He flies through walls and has laser eyes. Imagine if Superman had a nightmare.
Yeah, but Superman, he's Clark
you
Kent.
Could die.
He's an extremely nice guy. He has a stable, he's got a job. Batman, on the other hand, he's a billionaire, which is great. You're gonna have a sweet pad, but he's dark. He's he's insane. He's really let's be honest. He thinks he's a bat. He's insane.
I bet he needs a lot of emotional support.
Oh, so much emotional support. He's out all hours of the night.
Oh boy.
I don't know. That's
good point. Good point, Sean. I'm going to have to think about this more.
Superman has X-ray vision. He's going to be staring at God knows what.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the Twitch chat is saying Batman. Twitch chat is on Team Batman. But the final decision rests with me and Matt, so you'll have to tune into the episode to find out how we decide. God, I love plugs. All right, we're going to wrap this up here. We'll be back next time with myself and Colby and probably Dan with more tech news. But until then, thanks everybody for joining us. Hope you had as much fun as we did, and we'll see you next time for more tech news and good times here on Don't Panic.
Bye.